Oh boy, what's up? All right, welcome back. This is going to be a fun video about measuring homes. I don't really have a diagram set up and things to on how to measure homes. I'm just going to lay out some good principles and a good rule of thumb, and then I'm going to tell you one of the worst stories that's happened to me personally because of not measuring a home. So. First off, let's just talk about measuring a home, what to do, how to look at it, things to point out. So, first, there is a checklist that we have in .loop. It does recommend that you measure the home so that you know the square footage or a rough estimate. Of course, most tax records have the square footage listed in the tax record. So most of the time we're going off of the tax record. It's usually pretty accurate, but I've found a lot of discrepancies before in the past. Hence that we have that line item on the checklist so that it will prompt you to measure the home. Now you don't have to. I'm not saying that this is mandatory, but it should open your eyes to potential mess ups or screw ups with your clients that you could have avoided just by measuring the home. Okay, so first, when I get a listing and I'm going out there and I'm working with the clients, and maybe this is after we've solidified the contract and things like that, but I'll want to measure the home and make sure that the square footage matches the tax records. And so to do that for me, I show up with some graph paper if I have some. Typically, I don't have that. I just have a sheet of white paper from the printer because I just grab it and go. Or I do on the back of one of the contracts, like whatever you have available, just run with it. I don't really put too much effort into it. I just try to make sure that I do it at least to make sure that I know it's accurate. So, piece of paper, lay it out. Get yourself a 100-foot tape measure or a 50-foot tape measure that has hooks on the end of it so that you can effectively measure the home without somebody else holding the other side. Most of the 100-foot tape measures do have like little prongs so you can sink it into some bricks, or you can wrap it around itself on like some of the gutter work that's coming down or the downspouts. So there's a lot of stuff you can do with that and make sure that you get accurate measurements. So I just run around the house, right? Tape it for the outside because we all know that square footage includes the brick, the wall, the insulation, sheetrock. It includes everything that's inside of the home, and from the very outside of the home to the inside. Of course, that doesn't really fly when you're doing condos and stuff. So if you're doing a condo and measuring a condo, just go inside with your laser measurer or your tape measure again and just measure the inside square footage. No big deal. But let's say you're just measuring a rambler, just go from corner to corner, write those down, get your square footage, double it if you have an actual rambler with a full basement. And that's all you got to do. Just match it up to the tax records. There are tons of ways to mess up the measurements, right? If you have cantilevers, if you have bay windows, if you have funky layouts, if you're doing a tri-level, sometimes those get a little weird. If your garage cuts out in the middle of the home, that's not square footage. Garage is never going to be square footage unless it's heated and turned into living space. So you really have to be careful of what you're doing and make sure that your measurements are accurate. Okay. So good luck measuring the homes. I know that after you do a few, it'll be second nature. You'll get it down pretty fast and pretty easy. So my story is recently, or maybe in the last couple years, I kind of got lazy about measuring homes myself and just figured, we'll go off the tax records, no big deal. Well, we went off of the tax records, and sometimes that's a good thing, like, hey, the tax records say it's 2,000 square feet, maybe it's only 1,800, but the buyers, that you were selling it to, maybe their agent never measured or anything, and you just went with it. My story is the reverse of that. I listed the home, square footage was like, 2,000 on the tax records, and then when I went to measure the home, it was actually 2,200. So in today's market, we're hovering anywhere between 150 to $250 a square foot and beyond. Of course, depends on what market. Let's just call it 200. So 200 times 200, what is that? What is that? 40,000? 4,000? My brain's not fired up right now. 40,000. Okay. So $40,000 in price difference had I listed it correctly. Now, since this was a while ago, the prices were a little different, but you can see I ran my clients into a bad position because I didn't list it with the accurate square footage. I just went off of tax records. Nobody questioned it. Nobody thought the wiser, but after I had found out, I changed everything on the deal so I could make sure. Well, I'm going to sneeze. It's COVID. Just kidding. So anyway, I changed everything, got it all squared away, missed the opportunity to really screw up my clients' pocketbooks. So we saved the deal and made sure that they got the money that they deserved for the square footage that was in there. But it was really, really risky, right? I mean, risky to the tune of 40 grand. That's big. So take the time to make sure that you're adding value and measuring your client's home so that you can make sure that it's accurate through the tax records. Okay, I'm off my soapbox. If you want to measure homes, go ahead. If you don't, good luck. All right, this has been all about measuring homes. I hope you guys took something out of this, and I hope that this discussion helps you see how valuable it can be to measure homes accurately and just get down in the weeds and figure out how to do it, how to make sure that it's accurate, and to help save your clients and add value to the transaction. So, all right, I'm TJ McClelland, of course. Text me, call me if you got any questions. I'm always around. All right, see ya.